So you can do this breathing technique when you're standing, when you're lying, when you're sitting.
Mm-hmm.
You can do it when you're cooking or doing something.
Cleaning or
Yeah, maybe, you know.
Hello, Arthur Roscha. Nice to see you again.
Hello. Hello, David. Good to talk to you again.
Last time we talked about ESP, the ESP cards, also about remote viewing, and
Right.
also about your profession as a magician, or you also call it a mentalist. So, can you introduce yourself again?
Yeah, so now I'm a little bit in another position here. But yeah, I'm a magician, I'm a mentalist, I do shows for corporate events, private events. But on the other hand, I'm also a complementary therapist, craniosacral therapist, and hypnotherapist based here in Aarau, Switzerland. But I also have online coachings and therapies with hypnosis or advice regarding problems with long COVID, for example. Yeah.
Good, yeah. And I think last time I gave the your webpage as magier.ch, but actually you also have another webpage. Isn't that correct?
Yeah, that's another web
Mm.
page. So maybe you can link it in the description later. It's Praxis line
Mm-hmm.
arthurroscha.ch.
CH for Switzerland. Good.
Yeah.
I will link it below. So what do you do? What's your method of therapy? How do you heal people generally?
Yeah, generally it's craniosacral therapy, and this is a osteopathic method. And craniosacral work, it moved a little bit out of osteopathy, and you have different schools of thought.
It's energy
But it's
therapy, I
based,
think, no?
no, yeah,
Mm?
you can say it's energy therapy, but it's based on a rhythm. It's kind of also a breathing rhythm. So William Sutherland called it the primary breath because you have the breath, you have the movement of the heart, the movement of the lungs, and you have also this movement of the craniosacral rhythm. It's like, for example, your head is moving a little bit. It's getting, how do you say?
Elongated. It's kind of
Elongated and then
stretches.
a little
Yeah.
bit, yeah,
I don't know if you sometimes listen to the podcast of Joe Rogan, and he had
yeah,
a person from Neuralink. You know, the Elon Musk is doing the
okay, yeah,
experiments with
yeah,
the brain waves,
yeah,
and there they're having problem with the chips inside the brain because the brain is also moving and it's also pulsating. You know.
that's interesting. Yeah, okay, I
Mm-hmm.
have to check it out. So normally the rhythm is 6 to 12, every 6 to 12 seconds you have a movement out, and 6 to 12 seconds you have a movement in. It's like a breathing cycle. When you relax, it's getting slower as well.
So the breathing also influences the pulsation, your pulse, the blood, and your heart, all your organs. It's all connected together, and that's what you can influence also with your breathing, starting with your breathing. Is that correct?
That is correct. So now we move to breathing because craniosacral has nothing really to do with breathing. They call it the primary breath because it looks a little bit like a breathing, but we don't know where it comes from. We just know we can work with it. So normally when the body gets stuck, when it becomes blocked, when you have trauma, when you have pain, this movement is also stuck. So we work with this movement to get a freer movement and to let pain and blockages and holding of the tissues to release it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's right. I work also with the breath, and I work with the coherent breath and some variations of the coherent breath, where I can help clients to self-regulate better, and especially when I work also with hypnosis regarding phobias, fears, depression. Coherent breathing is a really good technique. I can give them as a homework, and I practice it myself, and yeah.
So with the spine, yeah, that's the word I was looking for. The
Spine, yeah.
spine has
Yeah.
these how many bones, how many, it's almost like a ladder, and in the yogi, in the Hinduist tradition, there are also the chakras that you can activate. So there is a medical aspect, but also a spiritual aspect. You also mentioned in your videos the similarities to qigong, so some also say that they're working with the qi, also the shiatsu, and all the
Yeah.
Chinese medicine and massage also is working with this general kind of like axis of our body.
Sure, there are many different views regarding the spine, or yeah, directions how to work with the spine. And craniosacral work, it is energetic work. We use a lot of visualization of the body, of the structures of the body, and it is very calm work with stillness, and with a still mind, and very gentle touch, like 5 grams normally. But it is a physiological movement, so we don't work with energy flow or with chakras in the sense of other traditions, or like Reiki, or like spiritual healing.
Yeah.
But there are thought schools who integrate, of course, some of the stuff, and yeah.
With breath work, I also encountered other methods in the last year, like the Wim Hof breathing method, or
Yeah.
holotropic breathing, that is a little bit more activating,
Yeah,
maybe,
I
where
practice it as
it's a little bit
well.
more
I love it.
challenging, I think,
Yeah,
than the method that we're gonna
yeah, it
introduce you now.
is. I have experience. I practice as well. The Wim Hof method. I really love it. I like it. I think it's safe, but you have to be careful. Not everybody can work with it. Also, some long COVID clients, it helps really good, but others it doesn't work as well, and they get worse afterwards.
Yeah.
And it works, or it helps when you have really a good coach regarding
Yeah.
the Wim Hof method. Of course, you can use the app, you can use it online, but yeah,
If you want to go
there
really
might
deep,
arise, yeah,
it can get very intense, also
can get
emotional.
intense, yeah, emotional, and there are also some breathing patterns arising with some people which are not healthy.
Yeah.
Because you make this practice, and sometimes these breathing rhythms, they come back unconsciously,
Oh, really?
a little bit.
Yeah.
So sometimes people have problem then. They don't know how
Yeah.
to breathe correctly. They're thinking maybe too much about
Yeah.
breathing.
And the hyperventilation can also become like a cramp, especially the hands can become like these clamp. So that's you have to have a guide that kind of relaxes you again, and helps you not to panic, basically.
I recommend in the beginning. I recommend. But I
Okay.
started as well without a guide. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it's very adventurous.
yeah,
So now, with your technique, I went already to your YouTube channel that I will
yeah.
also link to it. You also have like a playlist with different sounds. So can you introduce the sounds that kind of guide through the breathing exercise?
Sure. So I was looking for sounds and I couldn't really found it. So normally I use the digital metronome. So one of my breathing teachers, where I learned the coherent breathing from, it's Ben Wolf from England. And he used what he called a clicker ticker. So this was just a digital metronome in his hand, and there was this beeping sound, and it was really unnerving beeping sound, beep, beep. And he said, only use this. So
you won't fall
because
asleep. You won't fall asleep with this beeping.
yeah, so the beeping sound, and you will hear it later, but I will give you also an alternative, which I like as well, with some singing bowls. But regarding the beeping tones, every beeping tone gives an activation in the orientation system in the brain.
Mhm.
It wakes you up a little bit.
Yeah.
And he worked a lot with long COVID clients. I did as well, and I always give him the beeping tones.
Mhm.
Because they tend to help, especially with long COVID. And but yeah,
With
let's
long
see.
COVID, they often have symptoms like similar like burnout, always feeling sleepy,
Yeah,
or what kind of symptoms do they have?
yeah. Well, there's a whole range of symptoms, but there's this brain fog symptoms,
Some are really oversensitive towards light or sound, I
oversensitive,
think, yeah.
also sometimes fatigue,
Fatigue, yeah.
burnout symptoms, brain fog, loss of concentration.
Yeah.
But there are also other symptoms in the lungs, maybe, or
Or
somewhere
also
else in the
feeling
body.
stressful all the time. So that's why like a relaxing
Yeah,
meditation is good. Relaxing, but not sleepy meditation. It's a focused
it
relaxation, huh?
is. It
Okay.
is. So I was looking for sounds because there are different rhythms you can use. You can use 5 seconds, which I will show you now. So this is the singing bowls every 5 seconds. There's a high tone and a low tone. You might decide later on to breathe in on the high tone and breathe out on the low tone. And I will guide you later on through a session.
Okay.
And then there's also this beeping sound.
With the metronome, the
And then
tact,
you
yeah.
also have the metronome. So Ben Wolf, he also found out that the metronome has a really good uh, function to calm down the brain, because the brain, it counts a little bit with this count every second. So this is also very, very good. Also with the singing bowls.
And I think the aim is also to create like a regularity. I think we often have a little bit of a chaotic kind of breathing without noticing.
Yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
That's a little bit the point. So yeah, but with coherent breathing, it's a rhythm of 5 or 6 seconds where you breathe in rhythmically and you breathe out rhythmically. It's really simple.
Mm-hmm.
There's
For how long?
nothing dangerous about it. With Wim Hof, yeah, you have to be careful. You have to know
Yeah.
what you do. And this is a very safe
And
breathing
I,
technique
and
with very,
it's also not so long,
yeah, it's
correct?
not so long.
Like five
20
seconds
minutes.
for 20 minutes in like 5 minute segments.
Yeah, it's
Like,
yeah, it's compartmentalized in 5 minute segments, because 5 minutes is a good starting point. 10 minutes is better,
mhm.
and 20 minutes is really good. So there's the neuroanatomist Bud Craig, and he did a lot of research regarding one special region in the brain, and he also promotes coherent breathing because it regulates this region, the right front insula. And he says when you practice this 20 minutes a day for 3 months or half a year,
Yeah,
he says you gain 10 years. Yeah, I
yeah.
mean, it's a big statement, but it's from a world renowned anatomist, and There are
Yeah,
many.
we all know
Good.
stress is the killer kind of lifespan.
Yeah, sure.
So if you have
Yeah,
less stress, then obviously you'll be
yeah.
happier and probably you will also live longer.
Yeah, it helps to regulate stress. It helps to regulate
Mhm.
emotions. It helps to have more positive emotions, to regulate the negative emotions. It helps for blood pressure as well to regulate it.
Mhm.
And yeah, many health issues as well.
It will improve the health issues.
Yeah,
Like I also have like for the last month kind of gained a little bit weight, and I also if you have a belly, then it's also a little bit more difficult to breathe. There's
yeah,
also this vicious cycle that you can get into, so I really try to go for walks again. And but
good.
like walking and this meditation is a little bit difficult, I found, especially
Yeah,
like
I
if
tried it.
it's, yeah, you
It
tried it.
works, but I would. So you can do this breathing technique when you're standing, when you're lying, when you're sitting.
Hmm.
You can do it when you're cooking or doing uh, something.
Cleaning or
Yeah, maybe, you know, not too much movement, not
yeah,
too much movement, but when you're cooking, for example, it works really well. Of course, when you're waiting somewhere, it works well. I
yeah.
also use it sometimes when I walk, but then I would promote the 5 seconds or maybe
Hmm.
4 seconds breathing, or just count with the walk, you know, synchronize it, make it coherent with your walk cycle. I would not go with the 6 seconds, but there are many there are other breathing techniques when you do sports,
Yeah.
when you go jogging,
Hmm.
and they promote actually to breathe 6 seconds.
Really?
But that's a different story. It's a little bit another breathing.
Yeah.
And I will
And
not go into this. And
good.
I forgot the name of the guy who promotes it. But you find many of these things also in the brilliant book from James Nestor. I think it's called Breath in
Yeah,
English, James
I
Nestor
found it.
Breath.
Yeah.
You get it also in German,
Hmm.
Autumn,
Autumn. Yeah.
and there you find this idea as well. Yeah,
And basically, before we start with our demonstration, I think the trick, because usually if I then kind of try to observe myself how I breathe, it's usually just 3 seconds, and I don't breathe continually. I take a break where I don't breathe
yeah,
at all, and then and then and now
yeah.
it's more like you have to breathe, but not too much at a time. Just evenly breathe without a pause. That's the technique, isn't it?
That's right. So I will guide you then through the technique, but that's right what you say. It's a slow, deep in breath in the belly, and it's really important that you go into the belly
Hmm.
so that it moves and you don't stop the breathing. You uh,
Continuously breathe,
continue.
huh?
So when the next singing bowl tone comes or the beeping tone, you
Okay.
continue to breathe out slowly. And you don't let all the air out, and
Yeah.
you don't breathe all the capacity in.
Yeah.
So it's a relaxed but deep and slow breath. Now, it's not the idea that you breathe like this the whole day. You know, breathing is unconsciously, it's a part of the autonomic nervous system, and it should be a part of the autonomic nervous system because when you think all the day about your breathing, yeah,
It
you
can
get
drive you
wrong breathing
crazy.
patterns. Yeah, it drives you crazy, and you become wrong patterns.
Good.
But the subconscious mind, it starts to take these longer breathing cycles into your daily life and also into the night, which
Yeah.
might help with snoring and sleep apnea
And
a
also
little
falling
sometimes.
asleep. Falling asleep, it really helps. I
Yeah,
can tell.
it
Yeah.
can.
Hmm.
It's not a technique which uh, only calms down or which just it's not a meditative technique per se, which is just to relax. It's a regulating technique for the autonomic nervous system, because you breathe exactly the same length in, exactly the same length out. The in-breath is regulated by the sympathetic nervous system, the breath, the out-breath by the parasympathetic nervous system. Yeah.
Okay,
well.
sounds great. Create more balance. Shall we start?
We can start, yeah, sure.
Okay, what do I need to do?
We start now with 5 seconds, and we move later on to 6 seconds. Now, you, David, and everybody who listens now, who tries it out, just try it out. When you have problems with 5 seconds, and it might be that it's too long, don't worry. Let your breath be his breath as well. Don't think about it, but listen to the informations I give you and try it later on. Because normally you have to practice it a little bit in the beginning, and some people will find it very easy in the beginning. And we start with 5 seconds. So
for 5 minutes.
Yeah, maybe to 5 minutes.
You're gonna do it? Okay.
Yeah.
Let's try.
So bring your breath now into an in-breath. Slow in-breath and slow out-breath.
Do I close my eyes?
No, you can take it, keep it open as you wish. Put one hand or both hands on the belly while you breathe out, breathe in, and feel the belly moving. Breathe out, slow, deep in-breath. And it's not a full in-breath, and it's not a full out-breath. There's still place for more air if you would like to, and there's still some air inside when you breathe out. Breathe out slowly, deeply, that's it. Now, whenever you breathe in this rhythm, as I told you, the right front insula, it's a part of the brain, of the prefrontal cortex, calms down. And it's a region which is in the focus now, in the scientific focus, because it's regarded as a bridge between body and mind, body and consciousness. And when we are stressed, this little part of the brain is stressed as well. It's an imbalance. And whenever you breathe in this rhythm, 5 or 6 seconds, it regulates. And it's also called the coherent breath because many body rhythms get more coherent. So the rhythms, they tend to come together. So for example, the heart rate variability, cardiac rhythm variability becomes more coherent. That's the distance between each heartbeat. When we are stressed, the distance between the heartbeats, they're very irregular. And whenever you breathe 5 or 6 seconds, it becomes coherent. Of course, also the heartbeat regulates down, but it's this heart rhythm variability who becomes coherent. And we know that this has really good effects on the body, on the mind, and our feelings as well. So I will change for the last minute now to the 6 seconds. So breathe in, 1 second more, and breathe out, 1 second more. Just see if this works for you. That's right. And when you breathe like this, you move your belly, you move your diaphragm, normally 40 to 60% more. You have more movement like you have normally in our society today. And this movement is really important. Deep breathing in the belly, deep movement of the diaphragm gives much more blood into your brain. So it's especially one scientist or life scientist, Stephen Elliott. And he did some research and he promotes the 6 seconds coherent breathing. And he found out that there's a wave, a coherent wave of blood flow together with the heart and the diaphragm, which gives 5 times more blood and oxygen into the brain when you breathe like this, 5 times more. And there's also more fluid circulation in the whole body. 2 times more fluid circulation in the extracellular space. So many good benefits. And I would say that's enough for this exercise. So just let your breath relax and don't think about it anymore. Yeah, when you practice this 1 minute, which is like 5 breaths of 6 seconds, has some effects on your body. 1 minute. But I would recommend you start at 5 minutes a day, then you go up to 10 minutes, and then you go up to 20 minutes and see how it is within some days, some weeks, some months, how your body, your mind, and emotions react to this kind of technique. You can also do it before you go to sleep. That's right, what you said. You can do it. It doesn't stop you sleeping. You can do it 2 times 10 minutes or 4 times 5 minutes or 1 time 20 minutes. And you can also count without these sounds, without digital metronome. You can also, of course, take one of these old metronomes. It works fine as well. But you can just, when you're waiting somewhere, you can just count for yourself in your mind, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever. Yeah.
Good.
How did
Yeah,
it work
like
for you?
in these, I'm really amazed how quickly I can really relax. So like I also have experience with Zen meditation, where usually you do it for
Nice.
a half an hour or even an hour or something. The really experienced one even do it like the session for a whole day, where then also your feet will start cramping if you're in this
Yeah.
lotus position. But your method really, I first thought it's too simple to be true, but really already after a minute, after 5 minutes, I can really feel a relaxation, not only of the
Yeah.
body, but also of the mind. So it's a really
That's right. Yeah.
amazing how quickly we can go into a very a slight trance, a slight meditative state, I will call it.
It is a
And
flight
yeah.
trance state. It might be. It's not designed. I mean, there are other breathing techniques which bring you more into a trance
Mhm.
state.
We can do that
Uh,
next time, maybe.
yeah,
The
maybe.
more hypnotism, but it's really
Yeah.
something. It's not
But
just
yeah,
breathing. It's really connected. It's really similar to meditation, other breathing techniques.
it is.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I mean, it's really near to us, the breathing. It's the first thing we have. It connects us to the outside world, but I think also to the inside deeply. But yeah, it is interesting and fascinating. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Thank you very much for your introduction. Maybe
Thank
we
you.
can do another Zoom call again in the future about a
Sure.
different topic, or hypnotism is also extremely fascinating to me. I've been listening to Michael Seeley, for example. He's a guy who's also has this calm voice with this
Okay. Yeah.
music background, and
Yeah.
it kind of helped me to fall asleep. But this is really your technique, very simple and a very quick way of relaxing your body and your mind.
Yeah, just let me add, it's not my technique.
Yeah.
Just to be sure, it's based on other researchers and like Stephen Elliott. He came up with the term coherent breathing, and he did a lot of biofeedback measurements, and yeah, there are many others researchers. Of course, it doesn't have to do anything with me.
Yeah.
But I like it. And it's interesting regarding what you said with hypnosis as well. Let me add this. It seems like when you breathe like this, like the brain becomes more, the plasticity of the brain becomes more fluid. So
Yeah.
you enter more flow
Yeah.
state. It helps to enter flow states where your brain plasticity becomes more flexible. So it's a very good technique as well before you make, for example, self-hypnosis. It's a good way, 1 minute, breathe like this, and then you go into your suggestions or self-hypnosis practice or meditation, to use it in the beginning before you go into another meditation. Yeah. It's good it can be very well combined with other techniques and visualizations as well. Yeah.
Very good. And I don't have to go to a faraway ashram to learn it from a guru, but you like you said, you're very modest, and you're just reintroducing this old knowledge of how to breathe in a relaxing way and to create happiness in your life.
It was
Okay.
nice to talk to you.
Was nice
And
talk.
yeah, for everybody who listened, try it out, have fun with it, and enjoy the effects.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Danke vielmals, Arthur Roscha.